Hello and welcome to a world premiere. This is about the brand new product from SonicModell that will be listed on websites next week. Now the reason that I've got it, there's a very good story behind that and I'm going to explain it all. And at the moment I can imagine all of you peering at the screen trying to look what's behind me, but don't worry, I'm going to bring it up to the screen in a second. This model came about because SonicModell got in touch with me. For those of you that watch the channel a lot, you'll know that I am a massive fan of the SonicModell AR wing. I've got quite a few of them here and I fly them a lot. They're relatively inexpensive, they're pretty bulletproof and they're very, very versatile. But SonicModell got in touch with me and said, look, as a guy who flies our wings and likes them, but also flies a lot of other people's wings, we're looking at our next generation of product. We'd like to kind of pick your brains. What is it that you'd be interested in? So I came up with a list of stuff, and it isn't specific to me. It wasn't really weird stuff. It things like, you know, better value for money, more crash resistance, more room for kit. And I'll go through each of those pieces. And I sent it to them a year ago, and then there's been this to and fro over the past year as this product has been developed and designed and refined. And I finally got a hand-built pre-production unit here. The production units are going to be pretty much identical. I'll point out if there's anything that's going to be particularly different. So let me start off by talking about my first thing that I wanted. First thing that I wanted was I want more wing for the money. Wingspan on this is 1 meter, so it's 100 millimeters wider than the AR wing, and it's a very different shape. The shape is a lot deeper, so the wing loading is less. It will carry more weight as well, which is good. I also wanted it to be more crash resistant, and it's made of the same foam, looks like, as the AR wing. The way it's put together is very different though. The wings are removable, we'll come on to that in a minute, but the middle section, it's almost like the wing, middle body and the other wing is a third. So in terms of the energy that's transferred into these joints, it's a lot less because there's a lot less wing. So if you hit the tip, the leverage, the energy going into this is going to not be hopefully as bad. Next thing I wanted, told you we were coming onto it, was easy wing removal. Yeah. What they've done is they've actually added a port that makes all the connections, which makes me personally very happy because I modify my AR wings to do this and they've done it automatically. So there's a little connector, and on the bottom of the wing not only is that little 6-pin connector, 3 pins ground, positive, and the signal go into the servo. This is a metal geared servo and the control rods are all pre-installed. They are ball length and pretty heavy duty control rods as well, which is great because that's what I use and have used on things like my mini drac builds recently. But there's also a separate channel here, and that separate channel is for the other 3 pins that can go across, and there's an extra little pod in the wing. You can pop that piece of foam out and you can put whatever you want in there. Perfect for those of you that like the really long range systems. You could have 4 pins out into the wing if you common the ground, and that means that you could use CRSF or another protocol, or maybe if you want your video transmitter out here, then you could control it. However, let me show you where the video transmitter would probably be better. It's held in place by a single metal screw at the bottom, so putting the wing together at the field is a very quick and easy job. I wanted more places for modern FPV equipment. So there are the front pieces, there's a couple of these. This one is designed for the DJI camera, so that one goes in. This bay at the front is also comes with an optional balsa piece that you can actually glue at the bottom, and it comes with the red straps, and that allows you to put your action camera here at the front. Like I said, I'm probably going to put my shark bite system in here. Obviously this is the top that is for the DJI system. Again, you can pop the DJI system here in airflow, which is really good. Or there's another canopy on the top which has that covered over and has a big air vent instead if you're using traditional analog FPV. If you want analog FPV, then what you have is you have a camera mount here at the front, and then behind it there's a pod that is perfect to put your video transmitter or whatever you want, and that has a huge amount of airflow going from the front to the back. In fact, there's one of those on each side of the canopy. So you have room for lots and lots of stuff that's going to get pretty warm. You can put it and mount it on the wooden base so it's away from the foam, and there's a huge amount of airflow. So they managed to give me that as well. I wanted more efficiency and longer flight times. If I take the top off, the middle pod is massive, and it will take easily one of those really big lithium ion packs across the front, and that means that you've got loads of room here for your flight controller. And if I pull the back off, which has the GPS connector on it, we've even got room here at the back for other electronics. So because the body is so wide, and it looks like the body is actually a lifting body as well, which is one of the reasons why the wing can be shorter, we're not struggling for space to put stuff. And they've also cut channels between all of these places so that you can put your wires through really, really easily. So as mine has literally just arrived, I thought it would be fun to kind of show you how this all works. Let me just very quickly show you how it comes out the box, and I'll talk about the things that I really, really like about this. Obviously, I've yet to fly it, and that is going to be a fun build out. But the way it goes together is just really nice. It's just like an AR wing that's grown up. It's kind of what I wanted, really. So while I unbox this, let me go through the specs. So this is made from EPP foam. Wingspan, as I said, is 1,000 millimeters or 39.37 inches. The length is 450 millimeters or 17.71 inches. Now this is the standard power combo. This is going to retail for about $119.99. That's the recommended retail price. It's also going to be available as a kit version that's going to be $79.99, although I expect some of the online retailers will probably try and sneak under that amount. The motor and ESC combo that I've got in here, I'll come on to in a moment, is available separately for $49.99. But what I think is going to happen a lot is pilots that are running their AR wing and it finally comes to the end of its life when it takes one crash too many, will probably get the foam kit for this instead and swap all the electronics across. Speaking of motor and ESC, the motor on this is a 2216 1400 kV unit. The ESC is the standard 40 amp ESC from SonicModell with a 5 volt 3 amp BEC built in. The servos are analog metal gear servos. The propeller supplied, there's only one of them. It's a two-bladed 8x5 in the box. That's one of the few things I might mod on this. I might pop a folding prop on. And the recommended battery for this is going to be a LiPo 4S 3200 to 3500 milliamp hour, or a lithium ion pack, something like a 7000 milliamp hour 4S 2P lithium ion pack is a perfect fit for the front of it. Now they reckon the maximum speed of this with the SonicModell power combo is about 130 kilometers an hour. Cruise speed is going to be around 75-80 kilometers an hour, and it's going to pull about 5.5 amps. So that efficiency that I also wanted looks like it's there as well. But again, that's got to be tested. I haven't flown it yet. Maximum speed without structural damage, I love to know how they actually tested that, is 220 kilometers an hour, and the maximum recommended takeoff weight is 1.425 kilograms. They even in here do talk about in the manual what the reflex needs to be. It needs to be about 2 millimeters at level, and the recommended max throws are about 12 millimeters, but the control surfaces are pretty big and they are carbon reinforced. So as you can tell, I'm pretty excited about this. This is something that I've personally been waiting for well over a year. There are lots of things on here that I like. I like the fact that the shipping box is nice and small. That might sound like a weird thing to be excited about, but it does show how small it can break down to. And when the box arrived with this in, I was disappointed because I thought, oh, they've sent me the wrong thing. And then, as you see, everything fits in there quite nicely. There are the usual tricks in here. So for example, there is the flying JST lead that's there from the ESC that you can use to power all the auxiliary electronics. And although lots of other people have started doing stuff like that, it's nice to see. There's tons of room on all of the servo leads. So you could put your flight controller here or wherever you need to be. However, putting it online with the CG marks that are molded into the wing, hopefully you can see that on the video, which I love to see. It's nice to see manufacturers that actually put the effort into putting the CG in. That's good to see too. It is a flat bottom. It's completely flat. So there is nothing to catch. And they've also provided these Teflon skids that you can stick on the bottom as well to try and protect it. I like that idea. The only thing that might come down below this wing could be a TBS Crossfire antenna if you mount it vertically. Although I've got another system in mind for this. This could be a great test bed for my shark bite system, but also for something that I can talk about at the end of the month. I like the way there's tons and tons of room. I like the way all the channels are cut. I like the way that the CG reinforcement actually doesn't come into the cab. If we actually take all the covers off, one of the things you might realise is that the carbon reinforcement actually goes through this centre section. So the little carbon reinforcement rod doesn't impinge in any way on the inside. So once you run all your wires, you don't push the carbon rod in and then find that you've made a mistake. And that's quite a cute thing to do. It's something that caught me out on a couple of builds that I've done recently. I like the quality of the connectors and the ball links, and I like the fact that they've also put these little bays out in the wing along with everything else. Hopefully you can see this. I'll put inserts of this stuff because trying to show stuff in black EPP foam is tricky on camera. I like the fact they've also included CA hinges in the box. That's what these little plastic things are. By default, it has a foam hinge, which to be honest, I would probably be happy with. But if you're going for really high performance and you're really going to be pushing this thing, then there is the option to cut the hinge and actually sink those CA hinges in. And I might with this. I'll see how I get on. Weight for this as it sits with the motor prop installed, the ESC, but no camera flight controller, is 543 grams. So you've got, with the maximum flying weight, about 900 grams worth of stuff to put in here, although a chunk of that's probably going to end up being your battery that's going to go at the front. And the only other thing I'm excited to see is there is going to be like a premium power version that has a T motor and other things, and that's going to be coming out in the future. But I think with the power system that's on here, this should easily be enough to keep me entertained for quite a few weeks. The AR wing is still available. It's still a fantastic model. But for those of you that want more room for all your electronics, you want something with a bit more flexibility, you want something that's designed for the DJI HD system, or something like the Shark Bite system, where it's going to be in airflow and kept nice and cool, which is one of the problems that I've had with other models, then this is definitely worth a look. As links become available, because as I'm making this, and thank you SonicModell for allowing me to talk about this first, that's very kind of you. By the way, you'll notice there's things in here that put my name on. So the manual there, you can actually see it's got my painless pill on. Just to be clear, I haven't been paid for this work. I have just been an advisor and a person who's just given a list of what we all want. And they very kindly put my logo on the instructions. So this isn't a paid advertisement, even though it's got my pill on it. I don't like the idea of people reviewing products that they are getting paid for. That makes me nervous. So this is absolutely one of those things that I've just done because it'll benefit everyone in the hobby. But to be honest, I think they'd have probably come up with most of this stuff on their own anyway, and the list that I came up with is pretty much what most of us are going to come up with at the field. I'm pleasantly surprised that SonicModell have been sensible about the price point with this. $80 for the foam isn't a bad price. If you compare that with the premium wings out there, the premium wings are going to run you twice, if not more, than that kind of cost. And for this version that has the ZOHD 40A ESC and the Sunny Sky motor in it, it's going to retail for about $120 is the recommended retail price. And that is a lot of wing for the money. I think there's going to be a lot of pilots who are maybe thinking about buying the AR wing that will probably go for this. And I imagine quite a few of the kits are going to be sold to pilots who maybe have the electronics knocking around from a wing that's finally given up the ghost, one crash too many, and are looking for somewhere to put it. Because this, taking the standard kind of 9-gram servos and having a really versatile motor mount that's nicely far back and having all of the room for whatever electronics you want to throw at it, does make this a really interesting choice. Thank you for watching my video and watching right to the very end. If you want to find out what I'm currently working on, you can follow me on social media by searching for Painless360 in the usual places. If you'd like to become part of the inner circle, then you can become a Patreon. Details are in the description and you get lots of additional benefits. Check out the playlist section on the channel too. I organise all of my videos into playlists and it's called something like Introduction to or for Beginners. All of the content is aimed so that you can start at the very beginning and it teaches you that subject, starting with simple principles and moving up to teach you everything you need to know.